So two things converged this week that I want to talk about. ProcureCon just wrapped in Las Vegas, and at the same time, we were getting some pretty telling market data that honestly tells the same story the conference was telling. I wasn't there this year, but I've been watching the conversations coming out of it very closely, and some of the themes that surfaced are ones I've been monitoring for a while now, so let's get right into it. For anyone who doesn't know, ProcureCon Contingent Staffing is North America's biggest gathering of procurement and workforce leaders who manage contingent labor programs. These are people at the table making decisions about how their organizations source, manage, and pay for temp and contract workers. And the way ProcureCon described this year's event is pretty telling. They said, and I'm paraphrasing here, this is where you finally get to talk about what everyone else avoids: broken SOWs, supplier tension, and headaches scaling globally. That's not marketing fluff, it's actually a pretty accurate description of where a lot of organizations actually are right now. The themes coming out of this year's event are things like AI integration, workforce compliance, SOW optimization, and a fundamental question that I think every HR and procurement leader should be sitting with right now is your contingent workforce program built around cost reduction or operational efficiency? Because they're not the same objective, and a lot of organizations are running programs optimized for the wrong one. The VMS conversation has matured. Vendor management systems are no longer a compliance checkbox or even a back office invoicing tool. The conversation in the market right now, and you see this coming out of ProcureCon, is about VMS as an infrastructure layer that makes everything else possible. AI powered sourcing, direct sourcing, spend analytics, supplier performance management, none of it works without a solid foundation underneath it. There's also a growing conversation about the traditional MSP model and whether organizations actually need to pay a management fee on top of everything else to get visibility and control over their own workforce data. VMS platforms have evolved to where that control can live directly with the employer. So here's the practical takeaway from this week. The labor market is not cooling off in the sectors that rely most heavily on contingent workers. I've covered this in some previous videos, but healthcare is expanding and manufacturing is running flex models. And the smartest procurement and HR leaders right now are asking one specific question, and that is, do we have the infrastructure to manage this, or are we just reacting to it? If you're running contingent labor across multiple sites and you don't have a single place to see what you're spending, with which vendors, at what rates, with what compliance status, that's a legitimate business risk. And in 2026, it's one that has real solutions attached to it. Deployments are faster than we've ever seen. The investment case is pretty straightforward too. The question is whether you're ready to make the move before the cost of inaction gets loud enough to force it. All right, so that's the brief for this week. ProcureCon just reminded the market what the real problems are. The labor data is confirming the urgency, and the tools to fix it exist. If this was helpful, share it with somebody on your team who's dealing with contingent workforce headaches. If you want to talk through what a modern VMS program actually looks like for your specific situation, drop a comment or reach out to me directly.